Hi, I'm Jacqui Childs, and this is my friend Migena, and we're about to get highly intimate. Hello.
Hello, Jacqui.
Welcome. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Our sparkling water.
Oh, yes, cheers.
So, I call you Mimi. Do your friends and family call you Mimi, or does everyone call you Migena?
No, Mimi's became at work because Migena was difficult for people to remember, so they would call in and it would be like the Spanish girl, and I'm like, I'm not Spanish, but okay. The girl with the black hair, and we had 3 girls that had black hair at our work, and I was like, okay, I gotta come up with a name that's short and everyone
Simple.
can remember, so that's how Mimi came about.
Oh, that's how Mimi came about. So,
Yeah.
What do you do?
So I own a health and wellness clinic. So the idea of it is a 360 transformation, beauty inside out. So we take care of people's health and beauty. We have chiropractics, we have massage therapy, hormonal balancing, reflexology, and the beauty side I do life coaching. And also hair and makeup.
So that's how I found you. I was going through a little something in life, and a friend of a friend suggested, you probably already love your hairdresser or someone you have, but I have this girl that maybe you should go and meet. While you do get your hair done, she will talk you out of wherever you're stuck, like wherever you are. And so I made the appointment and went to see you, and I was like, what the hell? Who is this girl? You're awesome. Like right from as you're walking in the door, you're so excited and so kind, and your vibe is amazing.
Well,
like,
thank you.
I have come to you on some pretty bad days and some pretty rough times, and I've come in my pajamas.
You have no bad days. I'm like, when you come in and you're like, I'm in my PJs. I'm like, I don't care. You're gorgeous.
Like that's like you're just so, you pull out whatever's going on. You find like something really great and really happy to talk about. And
Thank you.
And to focus on. And also, like, are you a Leo?
Yes.
Yes,
I am.
Lots
I am.
See, lots of my friends are Leos. Is that?
I think we attract each other.
Like, cause that's
Just
weird.
It's
Aren't
a
Leos
vibe.
bossy?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think so. I would never describe myself as bossy. I think if somebody had a better idea,
you would.
I would be totally down with that. Like,
Right.
I actually don't
if
even want.
someone had a better idea.
That's true. Yeah.
I would be down with it. But
I'm very open to like people's like suggestions and everything. It just sometimes happens that we have some great ideas.
Yeah,
that people love.
When people come in and they start talking to you? What do you think the common theme is that people are upset about?
Relationships.
Relationships.
100%. Yes, and I think even so life coaching. It's because I got my like social services diploma. I worked in the field for 3 years with people with mental disabilities. I absolutely loved it, but I also wanted to do something that was hands-on.
Right.
And never would have believed that, talk about following your heart, that I would combine both of them together. Because when I was younger, everyone would be like, a social worker and a hairdresser, what? And then when I got in the field, I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, like so you can.
We are that person's therapist, and I think I see the world a little bit. I'm very like down to earth, so I like to.
Very.
Yes, and I like to look at any situation of like, okay, how can we remove the emotions out of it and really think about what the best thing is? So when people are emotional about relationships, I'm there to be like, hey, how about you think this way?
You do. You're like, you do that actually. And I was, of course, I come in with all this drama, and you're like, it's not even what? Why even? That's nothing. Like,
Well,
you're so.
yeah, I think in our head we tend to make a situation, because we're so involved, right? Like,
Right.
it's happening to us. It's easier for another person outside to come up with all these ideas, but when it's happening to you, it's a crippling feeling, And probably it repeats itself. Like we are stuck sometimes in attracting the same things and we're just exhausted.
Definitely. We're saying the same story. We're telling the same thing over and over again to ourselves, to everybody else. And then sometimes we need someone to sort of like create that shift to show you that it doesn't. Yeah. So were you always playing with makeup and hair and when you're young? Like, because how did you become... You have getting quite a following on social media and for your hair and your makeup and life coaching, and like your clients really love you, and you have some really gorgeous clients as well.
Yes, I do. I'm very blessed. Sometimes I question, am I good, or is it because all of them are so beautiful?
You're really good.
It's really easy to work on them. No, I think the passion for art was when I was really young. I used to really like design dresses, and I had a passion for like drawing. And then when I was 11, I went to my cousin's grade 8 graduation. She was getting her hair done, and I've always been an observer, and I watched her get an updo done, and I went home and I was like to my other cousin, and we've always had long hair, I was like, I'm gonna do an updo on you. And she was like, okay. And I was able to replicate the updo. It wasn't a very complicated updo. And I think from that moment, everyone was shocked that an 11-year-old could do that. And it stayed in the back of my mind that one day I would like to do this for a living. But I've always been the type of person that wanted to experience what it was like. And I had high expectations. I said, if 98% of my clients did not love what I do or return, I'm out of this, right. And I'm just going to focus on doing counseling or life coaching, right. And, so now I'm just blessed enough to do both. It's
really, really cool. I mean, the whole thing of the Wellness 360. I mean, They take care of your insides, take care of the outsides, so you go in there, you can... and leave a totally different person.
Absolutely.
For real.
Yeah, and I think it's based on trust, everything we do. People create that trust, and they have people that they love them. We love our clients.
Oh, honestly, like everyone there
is such a it's like a family. Even when I'm away on vacation, I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I need to get back and find out what's going on. Yeah. What nationality or what's your background?
I'm Albanian. Oh. Born and raised. We moved to Canada when I was 15. 20 years ago.
Oh, you're still a baby.
Exactly.
What was that like to come to Canada from Albania? Were you scared? Were you excited? Did you speak English?
Not at all.
Oh.
So, and we had moved when I was 10 from Albania to move to Hungary, and it was really difficult to learn the language. And now at 15, my parents are like, we're moving again. Great.
Oh.
I'm going to be mute.
I'm going to be a mute.
I'm like, seriously. And now I was in high school, and but very quickly, it was also like a bit of a freedom growing up in like an environment like where Europe is still very male dominant, where I saw it as like, woohoo, I'm freedom.
A little bit of freedom.
I can actually do whatever I want. Yeah. And take a full advantage of this. So
Albanian men and Canadian men are extremely different, no?
I think it's
like the culture in Albania.
I think it's the culture and expectation. Now things have changed everywhere in the world, but before, because it was a communist country for a long time, you almost had a role. Like, not a lot of expectations. Your job was to make a good home,
right?
Good wife.
Yeah, that was it. You were going to be a good wife.
And I think it was difficult for my parents and my father because we came here and we were teenagers. And his idea was you go to university, you finish, you find someone there, and you get married, and that's what life is about.
Oh, and then he has you.
And I was like, hold on, that makes sense. But I'm like...
Has he seen your social media?
No. He actually, I have him blocked on Instagram because I think he would lose his mind and he would disown me.
Even though it's so beautiful, it's all creative and art, but that's just, he's old school.
It's very old school, and I learned to stop fighting it and just accept it. And I've always been someone that loved pleasing my parents.
Right.
My mom, she's way more open-minded, so we're very close, and she knows, and I can understand, like I can make her understand, like, it's just social media. It's for fun. It's for inspiration.
And for part of your job, right?
Yeah,
it's a marketing.
It's just a marketing platform, and it's just, I use it only for inspiration, and
Right.
I get a lot of messages from people being like, "Oh, you inspire me. That if you can do it, then I can do it." Because I mean, we're all relatable. Like it
Who
just.
really inspires you?
I have a few people that I started following, but right now, like honestly, there's quite a few people. I like people who are strong and actually like have a voice and they're not afraid to be themselves.
Right.
Like you.
Thanks.
And I've always like
Big
I've
mouth.
always said that from the beginning. I feel like it's refreshing that you're so open and who you are and
couldn't
about
be-
how you feel.
I couldn't be like this in Albania, could I?
Could
Could you be a strong, opinionated
right
woman?
now, and the world has changed. You could definitely in some parts you would be looked upon as like someone that's way too strong, but I think the country has moved a long way. I definitely in some different cultures are a lot harder than European cultures, like but yeah, you definitely could.
Do you think your mom's proud of you, what you're doing and what you're up to? And
I think my mom has always like encouraged me and been like proud of me, but they have high expectations.
like, do they want the marriage and the baby?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
All the time. As a matter of
that come
fact, as a matter of fact, my dad always used to be like every time I used to work 3 jobs, going to school full time, like working all the time, and sometimes in the weekend I would be dressing up to go out, and there he was. Stop. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
When are you gonna go in God's way?
Really?
And I'm like, what's that? I've never done anything wrong.
Right.
I'm very kind to people. I work very hard. Like
that
I
just
never
wasn't
harmed
what he-
anybody. And then it would come up like, when are you gonna get married and have kids? I'm like, oh, here it is. I'm like, can we have this conversation tomorrow?
We have this tomorrow. So does it right now? They would
Yeah.
still want you to get married and have kids. Like that
Absolutely, yes. That's my dad's like, I think it's a way of like the way that they were raised, the
Right.
way that grew up. I don't necessarily disagree. However, I was never marriage focused. Marriage to me didn't mean like a ring on your finger and just like having a wedding gown.
Right.
It meant meeting someone that you're willing to live with for the
spend a
rest of your
lifetime with.
life.
Yeah.
And just honestly like see what it's like every day-to-day life and being there for that person. So yeah, I'm very picky. So
That's good. That's a good thing. I think it's a really good thing. You have people coming in from all different walks of life and all different energies come to you and dump all their crap on you while you suck it all in. What do you do? Like, what's your downtime? How do you find, what do you do to heal in your wellness routine?
I think I do a lot of
Do you meditate?
masterminding.
Oh,
Like I
what's
will
that?
have conversations with myself when I'm driving to actually remind myself how blessed I am. Blessed even at the fact that people feel so comfortable opening up to me. So sometimes it can get hard depending, but it's not necessarily hard because people are opening up to me. It's because I see people not do well or suffer, and I think like that becomes a little difficult
Right.
to hear. And then
Like you
But
don't
then
take
I'm
on the weight
there.
of all their world. You're just
No,
you're
I
not
don't.
absorbing it.
I
What's
don't.
masterminding? Is that what you call it? They do masterminding?
yeah, like I actually see like things that I want and I focus on that, and just like for my life I find it like very like relaxing, where like I think I've always had 10 goals at a time.
Do you have
And
have
I
10
actually
goals?
like once I achieve one, then I take it out, I put another one, and I'm just like constantly focusing on it.
Jeez Louise.
So if
I
it
like
was
that. I need
like
10 goals.
yeah, it was pretty much like step by step. Like I don't focus on achieving everything at once. It would be like when I wanted to be a social service worker and even my English wasn't so great, I was like, well, you know what? You're going to go to college and you're going to go to this course until you become a social service worker. So
for
if that
you.
means for you repeating it 10 times, that's all you got to do. So I would focus on that. And then when I wanted to be a hairdresser, my focus was on that,
Right.
you know? Right now, life is changing, so my focus is different. It's like, oh yeah, family. With like my boyfriend, we're thinking to
I
like...
know. I was like, hey, was she going to actually say, because I thought it was super private. But yes, life is changing. You guys are focusing on...
Focusing on like the next step of our life. And because I'm very last minute, it's probably going to be done like this year sometime.
You'd like to get married this year because you do want to be a mom.
Yeah, that's like we talked about it, and you kind of always wait. You're like, I don't know when the right time is, but then I'm always gonna be busy. So I thought,
right,
might as well just add it there and then figure out life.
Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Do you work out? Like, what is your...
I don't. I've learned how to meditate. I've never found the time to meditate yet.
the time.
So I'm not gonna lie and
not
say,
in your 10 o'clock? I need to meditate.
No. I don't do that. I think the only thing that I literally do is like wake up every day, say my gratitude for the things I have, and then at night will say my gratitude for the day I've had. Mm-hmm. And then I say, I hope I get to see another day.
I hope I get to see another day. That's your big...
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest, I just try to be focused on, like, in the moment. And I feel like it's kind of unrealistic to really plan so much ahead in a very unpredictable world.
Do you ever have bad days? Ever?
I do.
Do you?
Definitely. And then those days I will just...
I've never
stay away, take a day off, or go to the gym.
Oh, do you like to go to the gym?
Yes, I like working out.
You like to get
Never
a sweat?
thought these words would come out of my mouth. Because before it was simply just for the way I looked, and then I realized that it was more like also to let off some steam. That's your personal time.
You also shoot with some very amazing, like they're sort of sports fitness photographers and stuff, right?
Some
amazing ones. How did that happen? Did you contact them? They contacted you?
Honestly, I started with my page of where I would post like my makeup looks, and then it became very it took off, and certain people, then I would go and do some like models makeup and hair, and then people started to be like, would you like to do a shoot?
I can imagine you show up to do my makeup, I'd be like, are you crazy? I'll do yours. You go do the shoot.
The thing is, I was always so used to like being behind the scenes, and I've always pictured a model to be 6 foot tall, size 0,
right?
And I'm like, what? Me? What?
The pictures are phenomenal.
And then it just went on from there. And I think every time I went, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't want to watch. I want to eat whatever I want. And now I have a photo shoot, so that's stressful. And then I went to one, and then you get the pictures, and you're like, okay.
I look pretty good.
Yeah. I did well. And then every time I said, that's it, I'm done. This is the last one. Then someone better contacted me, and then someone and then West Studios as well, when he contacted me, and I go, does he know that I don't have abs?
Like, those are some of the biggest photographers that you shoot with are some of the biggest fitness photographers in not only in Ontario but in Canada, and shoot for all major magazines, like mainstream magazines.
Yeah, I was very flattered. I was very nervous, and then I just kind of, again, I was like, you know what? Don't question it. Just go along with it. What's the worst that can happen? And
you look great. You look phenomenal.
That's what it was.
There was just a campaign, a bullying campaign picture. Did you, with a whole bunch of you together, like a bunch of the fitness models and a bunch of models together with I think you had jeans and white t-shirts on or whatever?
Yeah, it was not just a pretty face. We created like a group where we thought that we should all do a photo shoot and make it like so people can reach out and we support women.
Right. It was like to show celebrating each other instead of being a bully, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel like in a way that's why I like Instagram too, because you create almost this
community
and family, and you want everyone to feel like they're part of it and welcome and not judged. And it doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, what race, you can still be a part of it. Like, we don't believe in mean girls or actually breaking women down, but actually lifting them and supporting their dreams.
Have you had a mean girl? Have you had a mean girl experience?
In my life,
because you are very uplifting and you are very kind, and I couldn't imagine some saucy potty being mean to you. And you're like,
a couple of times in my life, but I just brushed it off, and I saw it as it was something to do with them, not with me.
Good for you.
Because I'm very welcoming towards people, and I feel that over time, because I choose to see the best in people, I usually get the best out of them. And this is just everyone. So then once in a blue moon, when somebody doesn't react that way to me, I try not to let it get to me, because I make a decision to live for people who love me and like me instead of people who don't.
Right.
And just kind of like look
I have a
at
hard
it that
time.
way.
I get stuck there. And you know that. You're like, why are you focused on that?
Yeah, because I feel like the second you do that, you're almost giving a lot more energy and power to the people that don't like you. And you take away from all these people that just adore you.
That do,
right?
Right? Why would I say no to things or cut off the celebration because of one negative when there's so many great things happening and so many people that are excited about what's going on and what's happening? You said to me last time I saw you that you're a little bit witchy. What does that mean?
So over the years, like I would get like this intuitions or feelings, like somebody would be describing like or telling me a story, and I'd be like, I don't know why I'm telling you this at all, but I have a good feeling about this. And then I would get confirmation from people, or people would cry, be like, how did you know? And I'm like, I have no idea. I'm just going with my intuition, and I'm just kind of feeling your energy, and I'm trying to give you a little bit of a positive vibe. So when someone now tells me like, and they're concerned, I'm like, I think you'll be just fine. And I'm like, I think it's my witchy side that's saying this.
Have you always had that? Have you always been sort of, is it spiritual or religion? What are you more? You're more spiritual?
Spiritual, because it was more like intuitions and people. I truly believe in feeling someone's energy. Mm-hmm. I think we all experience these things, but we're too afraid to really like speak up. When I was younger, like I would have this like feelings, but I would never speak up because I would feel like, oh, that's weird.
Right. It was just,
or
it was
what
weird
if I'm
to
like
you?
wrong? And now I'm like, well, you can always kind of like reassure someone of what you're feeling, and you don't have to be wrong or right.
True. You're
maybe they need to hear like something, and it's meant for them to hear it. So I'm a lot more comfortable right now to actually say it.
Right.
So
I like your witchy feelings so far. You're always right with me. So
yeah.
So far, so good.
That's pretty much what it is. So just reassuring people that you're in the right path, that it's okay. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to like really completely screw up.
Right. Are you on the right path, or do you think things will change?
I have no idea. For right now, I love where I am, and I never was. I thought it was a little unrealistic to stick to one thing. I like being jack of all trades.
You like doing a lot of
like
stuff,
honestly, I'm like, I think it's fun. I don't know what the future has to bring, but for right now, I'm
maybe mom and wife onto that.
Yes, and I don't know if I'm just gonna add it to it, or I'm just gonna be like completely like 360 in a different direction. I doubt it. I like challenges. I like to see like what else life has to offer, and so. But I don't know.
You don't know. Well,
I just know right now. Yeah.
Do you have a witchy feeling about what your future holds?
No, I try to be like letting it be. I'm like, surprise me.
Do you go to a life coach, or do you have anyone that you turn to talk about things? Or
usually it would be my business partner, because we usually we do this back and forth, and we open up about how we feel, what our next goals are. Very like goal oriented. If something is weighing on my mind, I'm obviously very open about it, so I would be like, oh, this is what's happening in my life.
Is it
like,
Walter?
Yes, Walter.
Walter, like, you guys are a wonderful team. He's a wonderful human. Like, it just,
absolutely.
Oh God, he's a doll.
Couldn't have asked for a better business partner.
Would you be are you considered best friends?
We are bestest friends. We're like family. Honestly, like, we feel like super blessed to know and be in each other's life, because we were such a great example in each other's life of what it is like to be a man and a woman that completely have this strong bond and relationship that
nothing sexual.
Nothing sexual,
like brother and sister.
Ever. Like, yeah. And it's like a lot of the times people would be like, really?
He's not
like,
your boyfriend.
He's not your boyfriend.
That's
and
what
there
I
was
thought.
never like, and everybody would think that, and we're like, our relationship is so pure that we left it to that.
Whose idea was it to come together and make this? Who's the business? Like, how did it come about?
We constantly would talk about, like, because he's a massage therapist and a hormonal, like, balancing for, he does BIE.
Right.
I would tell him.
What's BIE?
So BIE it's bioenergetics. Like it pretty much balances the hormones. For the longest time, I used to call it like his UFO machine.
Because I didn't know that Scientology.
Yes,
his UFO machine.
Yeah, so pretty much he helps people with balancing their hormones, allergies, any like emotions, and he muscle tests you, and then with a BIE machine, he then through your pressure points sends out the signal, and it heals. Your body recognizes it and it heals itself. I know right now he's probably thinking like she probably completely screwed up.
She butchered that.
She butchered that. But he would be a lot better. I'm very proud of myself that I even retained this information, because majority of the time I'm like, yeah, he does something.
He does something with his machine.
Yeah, and I remember the one time, because he has now helped 23 couples conceive. He's their last resource, obviously. And then right now, like it just, but the way I said it with my English to one of my friends, at this point I go, oh yeah, Walter has gotten, no, I said something about like he has gotten 16 women pregnant.
We should end on that.
And literally his face went like, no. I have helped 16 couples conceive a baby. I'm like, whatever.
Oh, so it's a hormone, does something to your hormones.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
pretty much if your hormones or you have any like food allergies or anything like that is off in your body, he balances it through this machine and pretty much heals you. So he's also a witch doctor.
He's also a witch doctor. So the two of you got together and created this. And
I would always say, because when I got into hair, I kept missing this part of, and I would tell him like, have a clinic. I would come do part-time like life coaching with you. Right. And then all of a sudden we found this place and we're like, oh, why don't we combine it all? How about we do it all and we do a 360 transformation clinic?
It's pretty cool.
And at first people didn't get it, but then once you start to come in, you're like, oh, okay.
And
now
you come back and it's a therapy session. You come back each month or each 4 to 6 weeks and you're there regular, and there's all kinds of stuff that takes care of your inside and your outside. It's amazing. And I think I have a definite bond with you. I mean, I adore you and love going there. I mean, I feel bad saying
very mutual,
I feel
Jacqui.
bad saying I dumped so much crap on you, but it's therapy for real.
It's all worth it when you come to the sink and you're so afraid of the toner that you will be like, oh my god. I'm like, Jacqui, it's just the conditioner.
Because okay, well, we'll tell everyone.
Yes.
My hair is almost your color, my natural.
Yes.
And in order to get it to be this color, the amount of bleach and the process is huge. Plus, I had to come several times to get it to the color we wanted it to be.
Absolutely, yes.
And then the chemicals and the toning and the whole thing, like, it kills. And I act like a total freak. You're like,
no, you are just, honestly, it is my favorite part of our session, because here you are like this 5-year-old and be like, how much longer? How much longer? How much
longer? A timer? Is there a song I can sing?
Like, and then sometimes I'm like, I can rinse it out now, but you will get a better result in 2 minutes. She's like, I can do it.
Oh yeah, I do that. That's my workout.
I just love you.
My sweat and my
love you. Absolutely love you. It's amazing.
It's fun. I mean, it's really fun. So thank you for coming. It was an interesting conversation. I didn't know your background, and I know what you're hoping for the future. I didn't know a lot about the past. Have you done a podcast before?
I've never done one before.
How was it chatting with me?
I think I was a lot less nervous just because it was you, and I thought, you know what? Don't look anywhere else.
Just look at me.
Just look at Jacqui.
Are you comfortable sharing this? Are you fine talking about everything? Like, did you feel?
Yes, I'm an open book. In general, I feel like people need to know about you if they're going to tell you about them.
What's something? Oh, that's very good.
Yeah. So
you need to share.
Absolutely.
What's something people don't know about you?
I don't know. I have a big mouth. I really say everything.
That's my answer when someone says, for real, when someone says, what don't we know about you? I'm like, what? You know
I
everything.
just feel like every day, it's like, even when it comes to my relationship, it's like, oh, how are you guys doing? Depends on what day.
Just depends.
Which one do you want to know? Do you want to know the good days, bad days? Like, and just we're people. Nothing is ever perfect, you know?
Nothing's ever perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, we share our shit.
Yes.
I mean, like all of you guys, I'm inspired when people say to me, "Oh, what keeps you young?" or "How do you whatever?" These women that are all doing everything and doing like, I mean.
It's
doing
because
a lot.
I think you relate to us. Because, I mean, you do so much, so then you see, like...
I'm a little late to the game. I'm a little older than everyone when I finally started doing it. But that's why I'm like, wow, these girls are amazing. Like, the stuff you do. And the service you provide me makes me able to do what I do here. For sure. Like, I was thinking about that, like, what is life coaching and what does it do for me? And when I go there and I leave all my blah... it makes me able to do these things.
Yeah, sometimes you need a place where you kind of escape from things, and people who...
And not judging.
Yes, exactly. And non-judgmental.
No
Zero
expectations. Yeah.
Zero expectations to be anyone else but yourself.
That's...
that's pretty much it. And I think that's the beauty of people.
You hold all the secrets. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
You hold them all.
I definitely do.
What scares you? What's like where is your focus when you get nervous or what sort of puts you off or makes you afraid?
I think my biggest fear has been to let situations and people change me.
What do you mean?
So I have made a decision on how I would like to live my life and be very down to earth, and I call it as floating through life, as simplifying any situation that happens. And then you encounter situations and people, and they might not bring the greatest feelings out of you. And my fear has always been that I will let them to change who I am.
Right.
And I work really hard to remind myself not to let that happen.
Just keep floating on by.
Pretty much. If someone came in my life and broke my heart, I would look at it as, oh, okay, like that doesn't mean that I'm gonna go into another relationship feeling like I'm gonna bring this baggage now over here and be so closed off, being afraid that someone else was gonna break my heart.
Has anyone broke your heart?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. I think it happens both ways, and it was more a mutual thing that you just couldn't make things work. I dated my first boyfriend of 12 years. My high school boyfriend for 12 years.
Wow.
And we were great together, but we just couldn't find common grounds because we had no experience, so we took each other for granted. So when it ended, it was a heartache from both parts that it didn't work. And I think it doesn't matter who does the breakup. I think...
Who did the breakup?
I did.
Matters to me.
Well, yeah, it was mutual. Like, we broke up a couple of times because it was more like, I want you to change this. And then we would argue, and then it would be like, I'm not changing that. And then I realized that by leaving someone when that happens doesn't make the relationship stronger or better. So I think that's why my focus right now is more on relationship stuff, or maybe... because I have so much experience in being in a long relationship and also dating people. And that it's always been kind of like, I've always dated someone with a good intention. But then I quickly realized that in the dating world, it was more like time that was going to really show who the person was. Mm-hmm. I found a lot of people... and I don't hold this against them, tell you who they want to be instead of who they are.
Right.
And in 6 months, there you are being like, that's why certain topics on the first date or second date are so unnecessary. You got to see who this person is, because people want answers. Well, who are you? And then you go on and you tell this person, obviously you want to impress them. And then 6 months later, you're like, who are you again?
Yeah, that's not really what you shared.
Because that's not what you shared. And it was more like, oh, disappointing.
Right.
And then it's just like, but I didn't allow it to change me to go to the next one and expect that someone else was going to be like that, or someone else was going to do what the other person did. So yeah, pretty much that was always like my biggest fear, is that eventually I would become a little more paranoid, or allow people to change me and not to be as kind, and not to see the world in such
rose-colored glasses.
Yes.
Which
absolutely,
isn't a bad thing, right?
because I literally, no matter what, I choose to see the best in that person. So I don't hold grudges, even for past relationships. I don't think I would be the person that I am today if it wasn't for them. So there it is.
If Migena came into your chair and sat down to talk to you, so if you came into as your younger self, or before your new transition to the country, like, what advice would you give her? How would you talk to her?
I would tell her that stop living for other people's expectations of you. Over the years, on the work that I've done on myself, I realized that when I felt the saddest or the lowest point of my life was not necessarily that I wasn't happy with myself. It was because other people had other expectations of me. They weren't happy with me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And I allowed that to affect me, mainly because it was mainly my parents. So like, I loved them, but that was their own expectations. I didn't actually do anything wrong. So I would say, like, continue to follow your heart.
Right.
Be that person that needs questions when somebody, or asks questions when somebody tells you not to do something. I think I've always been that child where I was like, okay, you're telling me not to do it, but I need to know why. And until you gave me a good enough explanation, I would be like, I don't like your answer, so I'm going to see it for myself.
Right.
You know, so I feel like it's great to learn through your experiences and others as well, like, you know, so yeah.
Role models as parents, did they teach you, growing up, do you think you learned from them what you want to be in life or what you don't want to be in life?
Both.
Yeah.
I learned what I took the best that they did as parents. They were so dedicated to us, a little like too much. Like, they made their entire life about us, and they're
You
always
and a brother?
there. Yes,
Okay.
me and my brother. And then I think the other thing was that as a parent, I'm going to try not to make my entire life about,
right,
at least at that degree, because then you're living basically on
for them
and only for their happiness. So if we were down, they were down. Like, if we were going through a heartbreak, they're going through a heartbreak, like, to a degree where they just,
it was very consuming.
They don't recover. It's
Right.
consuming. And I felt like it's not realistic. We are growing. We're going to have challenges in life. And here you are suffering because of our challenges.
Did they have a traditional marriage? Your mom stays at home and your dad works, or was it? And how?
Well,
are they
it
traditional?
began like that. So my mom and dad got married, and my dad was the main provider, and then my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad did very well for himself, and then we moved to Hungary, as I mentioned, and there. Unfortunately, he developed a gambling problem,
Migena,
and he
sorry.
lost everything. And we had to come somewhere where it was good for us, that we had a future. So that my mom had to start working a year later when we came here for washing dishes.
Wow.
So I think that is probably the toughest thing that made me as tough as I am today, because I was like, my dad had good intentions, but like,
you learn a lot.
You
from an
learn
experience
not to
like
count on other people, and I think that's what made me be like, no, I gotta count on myself and myself only. And if anybody else is out there to help me, that's just a bonus.
Right.
So I think that's probably like the.
Well, I'm sure you got your work ethic from your mom as well, right? Like you said, she came to this country not speaking English and was washing dishes.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
mean, you learned, I'm gonna work from the bottom up, and I'm gonna take care of myself.
She made it like she's a cook. She's not working anymore, but and you could see that the struggle was there, and
They
life
stayed
is
together?
difficult. Yes, they did. that's the one thing. Like, my parents stayed together through any challenge, even though I thought, wow, what a big deal, like, to wake up one day and realize, you know. But my mom, I mean, they bicker all the time, but that's part of, like, you know, daily routine. I'm like, you know, and
you should
it
be
just
a fly on my wall.
yeah, it just you know. But the main important thing was that they just realized that, I guess that's what marriage is. You go through things and you choose to stay with someone, and you accept them for who they are. And if they ever had a fight, and they would be like, oh, if it wasn't for the kids. And I'm like, we're okay. If you want to be done, you can be done.
We're adults now.
And then they just kind of stopped using that excuse. And I was like, but just so you know, with the habits you've developed, the way you talk to each other, no one's going to want you.
You're not going with anyone else with these habits.
Yeah, because they're just like...
Is that your life coach advice?
Yeah, my God.
No one else is going to want you
Yeah,
guys.
a little too harsh. Like, your opinions are a little too harsh.
Really?
People are a lot more sensitive, like, nowadays, like, you know, so... Yeah, I think that's probably one of the most
Was that
difficult
heartbreaking for you?
It was really heartbreaking. It's so funny because that was my first job too, at the restaurant, but I didn't care that I was working so many hours and I was tired. I would look at my mom and my heart just would, like, break, and I just wanted to make sure that one day I can, like, be a provider, and just seeing her go through all of that with all the expectations. And I mean, it's nothing wrong with, like, getting a job, but just it's so difficult when you're new to the country with your entire family, having to live off of your money. And my dad, shortly after, like, we moved here, had a heart attack.
Oh my goodness.
And it was just like a challenge after a challenge, and it takes years to, like, find yourself. So
and to build back up.
To build back up,
a
and
different country. I couldn't imagine, not speaking the language, a different country. It's an addiction, right? Gambling is it's a disease. He had an addiction.
Yeah,
it's tough.
And but thankfully it stopped. Like,
it's made you what you are today.
And I mean, it brought us here. I love Canada. Honestly, I feel
you say
like
all the time, I'm a proud Canadian.
Yes, I am. I feel like there is so many cultures. Everyone's so welcome, and I don't know. It's just wonderful. So
are you
everything
Canadian?
bad
Are you
happened.
Canadian citizen?
I am.
What was that like?
It was actually, like, very, like, interesting, because you go through a trial, and, you know,
I don't know. I was born here.
Just you go through the trial. That part was very easy. Like, I think the hardest day is when we came to Canada and asked to be, like, refugees and immigrants. And because we didn't speak the language, my dad's friend told him that when you get to the border, you say immigration office. And my dad kept repeating that, and they're like, this is the immigration office, how can we help you?
You're here at the immigration office.
You know. And then it was like, we're like, okay, we're just gonna wait for our friends. And I remember, like, this feeling, like, of, like, oh my God, like, are they gonna let us in? Or, like, you feel so helpless, like, you feel so, like, you know, I don't think I've ever forgotten that feeling, you know.
Wow.
But then it's just like then somebody came out from the office and goes, like, do you mean refugees? And we're like, yes.
That's what we are? Oh, I can't even imagine this.
Yeah, it was literally, it was challenging.
Where's your stuff? Like, where's your suitcases or whatever? Do you have stuff? Like,
well, we didn't bring much. So my closet literally started off with 2 pairs of jeans and 1 pair of shoes and 3 shirts.
Oh, and look at it now.
And let me tell you.
Oh my goodness.
Now it's just like, it's taken over my mom's house.
Oh, yeah.
And it's taken over our house.
You're like,
and it's just like
my
everywhere.
Summer stuff. It's at my mom's.
So now what I do is, like, when I go through and I clean up, I just take them and I take them to a women's shelter, or, like, you know, because I remember the times when I desperately wanted these beautiful things, but you could only just, like, look through. And I remember the first paycheck that I got, I was like, yes, I'm free. I can buy whatever I want.
I can buy something.
And I remember I bought, like, I put on layaway, as a matter of fact, the JLo jacket. It was pink with a white fur coat, like, and it was like,
do you still have it?
used to go, no, I actually, like, lost it. I have no idea, like, how I could have done it. It was, like, legendary, because
That was your first big...
Literally, I put it on layaway and I was waiting for my paycheck, and every day I would go buy it and visit it and be like, I'm coming for you.
I'm coming for you. Oh, I love it. Oh,
yeah, so it's just like, those are things like that make you like so much more compassionate to people's feelings, you know?
And
Just like,
I guess it's all how you're able to do what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear all the different sides of the stories from people and all different whatever, and you turn it into a positive, and you help them see the positive.
yeah, absolutely.
So it's that. Now I can't get the picture out of this little girl and a refugee, and I'm like, well, where were your bags? You're like, we didn't have bags.
You're like, what about your makeup?
Where's your stuff?
There was no such thing, Jacqui. Let me tell you, like this whole like, my mom never let me wear any makeup until I was 17. I had a full-on unibrow.
Wow.
And not cute at all. And I would just like wear very baggy clothes because I wanted to be covered,
Right.
like, you know, and it just like, I remember like wearing eyeliner the one time when I went in school, and it like, obviously you get a boyfriend you want to like, and I washed my eyes before I came home, and my mom goes, were you wearing makeup today? And I go, are you crazy?
Oh, she can see the
And then she takes a napkin and just like, you could see the black. She's like, what's this?
Oh, no.
She's like, the next time you do this.
Really?
She's like, you don't get to come home. And I was like, oh, okay.
They were that strict? Like, they're really
yeah,
strict?
pretty much, yeah. But then it wasn't their fault. They
But
kind
that's
of
how they made you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Being that strict made...
I didn't like it then. I appreciate it now.
I didn't like it then. I appreciate it
Back
now.
then, I just thought like, no, this is too much. You're too much. Leave me alone. Like, you know. But now I'm like, okay, that's all they knew.
And
That's how they knew.
You'll raise your child different? Your future child?
I would hope so. I think with a lot less like restrictions that I went through, like I would be the opposite parent. I would be like, you're too young. You can't get married just now.
That's what I say the same thing though.
Yeah, you're just way too young. Like experience life, because once I see like, I guess like that someone has come into, it wasn't until my 30s that honestly I can say that now I know exactly what I want. Not
Right.
always.
Right.
We don't always know,
Right.
but so much better. You look back and you're like, oh my goodness.
Well, good. Like, I'm still picturing the little girl, the refugee, and then like the ups and downs and whatever. And you're so positive and you're so kind and giving. I mean, that's obviously the lows and has made you, and I mean the struggles and where you came from.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
yeah.
and exactly who you are and what you do today. I mean, we need a lot more people like you in this world. That's for
thank
sure.
you,
We
Jacqui.
do. You just make me. I don't know how many times I've welled up. I mean, you're beautiful inside and out, and a very inspiring story. And thank you for coming.
Thank you, Jacqui.
Thanks for getting highly intimate with me.
Absolutely. Thank you.